The feud between Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert and fellow Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene continues, and it is getting heated. So this comes out of an Associated Press article where on one end, they break down how this Republican voter who's in Boebert's district and voted for her says, listen, I like her, but she gets a little nasty sometimes, okay? And we'll dive into the specifics in a second here. And then it shifts in this article to another quote from Boebert, who calls some of what Marjorie Greene puts out there unhinged. Unhinged. They used to be buddies, and now that language is being used. Now, what's always interesting about these stories is she's right, but she is also that description, which makes it all very funny. So here's this Associated Press article as it writes. Debbie Hartman voted for Lauren Boebert for Congress in 2020 and again in 2022, delighted by Boebert's unequivocal defense of cultural issues that animate the Republican Party's far-right flank. But as Hartman shopped recently at a supermarket in this Rocky Mountain ranching outpost, she had one piece of advice for the Colorado lawmaker. Quote, tone down the nasty rhetoric on occasion and just stick with the point at hand, said Hartman there. But then later, as the Associated Press talks with Boebert herself, they got this quote. I have been asked to explain MTG's beliefs, and this is Lauren Boebert talking, to explain MTG's beliefs on Jewish space lasers, on why she showed up at a white supremacist conference. I'm just not going to go there, Boebert said over the phone as she rode in a car winding through the high canyons near her hometown of Silt before the speakership vote. Quote, she wants to say all these things and seem unhinged on Twitter, so be it. Ooh, shots fired. We'll continue. Boebert, 36, insisted that while she may try to pick fewer fights with the left, she's not going to become a different person even after barely beating an opponent, Democrat Adam Frisch, who had targeted what he called Boebert's angertainment. A lot of those on the left have said, look at your election. Are you going to tone it down, little girl? Who says that? What? If anyone's calling her little girl, stop. That's weird. She said, I'm still going to be me. So I guess the general response there from Lauren Boebert is, okay, I might take the advice of being a little bit less ready to get in these fights, but I gotta be me. So I'm not gonna stop getting in these fights. And again, shots fired in a political sense where she is calling the way that Marjorie Greene portrays herself unhinged. And again, I say, she's right, but I wish she would also look in the mirror and realize she just used the exact same brand mold to build her political brand as Marjorie Greene did. But with Lauren Boebert, she should be a little bit more wise, because the reason she barely won in her district in Colorado is because it's a little bit more of a moderate district. Marjorie Greene can get away with being, and it actually helps her, being so wacky, and I use that term in the worst way possible, wacky, not in the fun way, because her district is much more deep red. Lauren Boebert may actually end up causing herself a loss in the future if she continues forward. So for the sake of the country, I want her not to be as wild as she is, but for the sake of her losing, maybe she should continue with what she's doing now, because she barely pulled it through last time. Very interesting and entertaining to watch Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Greene clashing, because as we talk about, if the MAGA movement is divided, it's weaker, and that is the best thing for the country. Let me know what you think, Luke P. Beasley, on Twitter.